Welcome to the podcast, monsters. I'm your host, Doug Bartlett, a serial entrepreneur, founder and owner of Bartlett Roofing. All right, guys, today I want to just talk to you a little bit about some things that you should be doing as a business owner, where your mindset needs to be and how you should be planning. And I'm going to start off with an example of a place where I failed years ago. Back in 1998, I started a company that was a cell phone retail company. We were a dealer for various lines of cellular companies. We grew that from I grew that from a startup to 27 stores over a 4-year period, and then I went bankrupt. And there were some really good lessons for me in business that were learned, and there's some things that maybe I can help you avoid falling into those some of those same pitfalls. Super painful situation, you know, to build up a business to where you're making $100,000 a month, and then lose everything, and I mean everything. Going through bankruptcy, house is gone, cars are gone, motorcycles gone, starting from scratch. I mean, it was a painful experience. Just to give you some context about that, you know, I ended up, you know, getting my grandma to co-sign on a beater of an old house that was built in 1927. Ended up being a really nice house after I rebuilt it. But for a few weeks there, we were lifting up the house, trying to make it, you know, because it had a coal cellar. So we lifted the house up, trying to make it big enough for my family to live in. And for a week or two there, my family had to go poop in a bucket. Like, things were bad. So you don't want that to happen to you. That's not a lesson you want to go through. And so let my pain be your lesson, okay? And so the lesson I want to give on this today, or that I'm hoping that you can take away from this, is really two parts. Part one is don't rely on other businesses. And what I mean by that is you can't trust that another business is always going to run itself well or with good morals and ethics. That is a huge, huge deal. In my case, the 1-2 punch to lose my business altogether and go bankrupt was that 6 months before 9/11 happened, one of the companies I was repping sold out to another company, and the company they sold to didn't follow the same ethical and moral guidelines. It was an international company, and they just opted to lie to us for 3 months about commissions that were due to us that they were going to be paying. And I went deeper and deeper into the hole of, okay, they're going to pay. It's just a delay on this transfer of ownership. And the truth of the matter is at the end of 3 months, they said, yeah, we're not going to pay it. You can just sue us. And so I was, you know, a smaller-ish company who just dumped all my resources into staying on top of things because I wasn't getting paid from these companies, and suddenly being told I wasn't going to make $500,000 that was due to me. And the only way to get it back would be, after talking to a lawyer, was a 3-year court battle, or, you know, more probably, after you deal with delays and everything else. And then trying to collect after, even if you win the court battle, trying to collect from a company that was in Germany. Like, it was a ridiculous proposition. There was no way I could survive that. And so the really big take home from that was, don't depend on another business to feed your business. You need to own your sales channel. You need to be in control of your business end to end. And owning the sale is actually what it means to own a business. Because if you're just servicing another company and you don't own your sales process, you are going to be hurting for certain at some point or another. Because let's face it, 90% of businesses out there fail. And, you know, you don't want to be one of those. And so if you're being fed by another business, and you know the odds of them failing are 90% or whatever the number is, you can be rest assured at some point, if you're in too deep with one company, they're not going to pay you, and it's going to hurt you and maybe take you under, depending on how many customers you have, how widespread you are. So the big lesson on that part is just don't depend too deeply on one source of business. Make sure you own cast a wide net with your sales process so that you can ensure that your success is not deeply dependent upon one channel. Because if it's deeply dependent upon one channel, it is going to kill you at some point. And that's obviously nothing that you want to have happen. The second part of that, we actually, you know, temporarily survived that. I had to close half the stores, and that was 6 months before 9/11 that they shorted us that $500,000. And so then when 9/11 hit, our sales dropped to 25% of what they'd previously been. In that industry, in the area where we had stores, sales tanked. And it went from busy, bustling stores to occasional customers walking in overnight, literally the day of the Twin Towers getting taken down. So second lesson here, I got them back to back. That's what drove me into bankruptcy. It's just 6 months apart. But the second lesson was, don't be too dependent upon the economy. You need to be resilient enough and have enough of a backup plan and have enough in reserve, and cast a wide enough net on your sales that if the economy takes a turn, you got a backup plan. You know where you're going to go. So find a business that is at least somewhat independent from deep economy downturns. If you are in a business that is too deeply dependent upon having a great economy, at some point, this is going to kick your butt. Typically economy takes a downturn at least every 10 years or so. A 10-year upcycle is really good. And so we are at the cusp of what could turn into a big downturn right now. I don't know for sure that it is. I hope it isn't. I know that my business is situated to where I'm not going to be really impacted by that. In fact, my business might even take a pickup from that point. But the fact is, at the end of the day, I can't be dependent on that, and you shouldn't be either. If you know that you're going to, you're a contractor that's relying on new home construction and the economy takes a hard turn, you're going to be out of business. If you are in a retail environment that is based on disposable income and the economy takes a hard turn, you're going to be out of business. Don't let that happen to you. You need to make sure that you get out there and have a plan for what am I going to do? What's my marketing plan? What's my sales plan? How can I cut costs? Or how can I possibly even continue to grow because I can take advantage of different segments of the marketplace? There's ways to do that. And you need to dig in your specific business and figure out how you're going to do it, because the question isn't if it's going to happen. The question is when. And if you're not asking yourself what you're going to do when it happens, then you are doing yourself a disservice and all of your employees as well, because it's going to happen at some point. So have a plan. Don't be too dependent upon any one business to feed your business. Cast a wide net with your sales and own your sales channel deeply, and don't depend too deeply on the economy being great, because everybody makes money when we can. But if you don't have a plan to keep it, either to downsize, cut your costs, reorient, change your sales channel, figure out a different way to cast your net to where it's not too deeply dependent on the economy, then you're going to be hurting for certain. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. I hope that you can take away what I'm telling you as a valuable lesson, because if you don't take that away, it's going to be painful. And you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to remodel a house and you don't even have working plumbing like I did with my family. So get out there and just have a kick-ass day, guys. Make a plan. Plan for the future. Cast a wide net and go kill it. If you have any questions, things that maybe I could help you with, I'd love for you to leave a comment. And we will do our best. I'll get in there and try to do my best to answer any questions that are asked. If you need some advice, 30 years in business for myself, I think that, there's things that I could teach a lot of people. And so if you got something specific that you're dealing with, you need ideas, feel free to leave a comment, ask a question, and then, check our feed and you can get our contact info there as well. Thanks, guys. If you have a mind for business or you want to grow, we are the podcast for you.